Alright, hello citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Nigel here once again, and this is going to be another wrestling review. Yesterday was a very special day, a very interesting day. Not quite Valentine's Day, but Vengeance Day. I'm of course talking about NXT Vengeance Day from last night. As always, I'm not professional wrestling reviewer, analyst, or anything like that. Just a man who enjoys a good time, and I definitely had a really pretty good time, I should say, for the most part, or with this event. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Of course, the first NXT pay-per-view / premium live event of the year. And how'd they kick off? Let's find out. So, if you've seen these reviews of mine before, you kind of already know how this works. If you haven't, I'm gonna be talking about what I liked and disliked about the event. And I'm gonna go match by match. Because as actually as out and about yesterday, I ended up missing most of the event. I did catch the main event though, and we'll definitely get to that. But I then earlier on this morning went back and rewatched the rest of the show. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Let's see what the stars of NXT were able to do here in the event. So we kicked off with the finals of the men's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, as Trick Mello Gang, that being Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams, held the unlikely team of Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin. For starters, Trick Williams pulling double duty because he's going to be in the NXT title match, and actually beginning and ending the show with Trick Williams, which is pretty cool. But nevertheless, these two teams going after each other. Of course, first Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin, the reason I call them unlikely team. They had been feuding beforehand, but now, because they were put together for the purpose of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, pretty much on the same page. And not gonna lie, these two teams absolutely killed it. Like when people will talk about how people like Braun Breaker or Carmelo Hayes or even Trick Williams are definitely the future of WWE. This is definitely the match that proves it, because these two teams just went at it, and admittedly kind of a warm up match, but more so for Trick Williams, because as I mentioned, he's gonna be in the NXT title match later on in the show. But these two teams still brought it, including that insane launch into the cutter that you've probably seen floating around on Twitter, or that was absolutely insane on the part of Braun Breaker. And it ends after Carmelo Hayes sacrifices himself, pushes his buddy Trick out of the way to take the spear from Braun Breaker. So Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin, and picking up the big win, winning the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Congrats to them. Excuse me. Congrats to them, and just a really solid match. A nice way to kind of wake the crowd up, get them ready for the night ahead, and definitely accomplished that, and just really solid. So definitely hats off to both teams, and of course we'll be seeing Trick Williams later on in the night. But next up, in the no disqualification match, we had Dijak taking on Joe Gacy. Now, I had mentioned that I wasn't really sure for her, because sadly I don't always watch NXT. I gotta get caught up and stuff, but trying to figure out how this feud came about. And the commentary was kind of helping out with that. So the commentary team is for tonight, in particular, was Vic Joseph and Wade Barrett. Booker T wasn't able to appear because he was having a medical procedure, which, of course, I was hoping that went well for Booker T. But at the same time, Booker, considering Trick Williams is in the main event, you picked the wrong time to have the medical procedure. But of course, there's sending out love and positive wishes, hoping everything goes well for Booker T. But as for back to this match, them kind of describing what's been going on. Apparently they've been going at it for a bit. That being Dijak and Joe Gacy. They've been going at it for a bit. This match, pretty alright for the most part, having some decent little fun and including Joe Gacy. He's spilling some toys on a table, and subsequently sending Dijak diving right through that table. Which admittedly, the toys may seem kind of childish, but if you've ever stepped on like a toy car or even a Lego, oh yeah, that it hurts. It definitely hurts. And Hijack placing not just one but two trash cans overhead Joe Gacy. Obviously not at the same time, but the first one then trying to cave it in, telling Joe just to stay down, but he wouldn't do so. Joe Gacy, he duct taping Dijak's eyes shut. That cannot be comfortable. As someone who's actually got not even just duct tape, but just regular tape on them and had to peel it off, it hurts. So duct tape, which is supposed to be like which of course is very strong. Yeah, that could not have felt good, but ultimately, it was pretty cool. Kind of a cool moment where after Dijak finally gets the tape off, looks over at Joe Gacy, who's in the corner upside down. And I thought that was pretty cool. Dijak ultimately finishing off Gacy with the Feast Your Eyes to put him away. Hey, so a fun little decent match there. But then next up for the NXT Women's Championship. So, this started out as Lyra Valkyria battling Roxanne Perez, but partway through the match, Lola Vice cashes in her NXT breakout contract. Or actually, I skipped the match. My apologies. We won't quite get to that one yet. But first, we have the 6-person mixed tag team match as the D'Angelo family, that being Adriana Rizzo, Channing Stacks Lorenzo, and Tony D'Angelo, battled OTM, aka Out the Mud, that being Lucian Price, Bronco Nima, and Jada Parker, who were accompanied by Scripps. So right off the bat, Jada Parker and Adriana Rizzo, I know, are kind of, if I'm not mistaken, kind of newer to NXT television, but OTM has been there for a bit. His Scripps obviously in their corner. Why are they still calling him Scripps? Why can't they just call him Reggie again? I have no idea. But Scripps has been with them in the corner, and of course the D'Angelo family, the current NXT Tag Team Champions. Although the titles were not on the line here, but more about personal pride. And these two teams did pretty decently for the most part. Like OTM, I think worked relatively well. The family did what they did, and of course the family ultimately picking up the win. And no double team finish. Not the bada bing bada boom from the family this time around, but Tony getting the win and hitting the pin and the win on his own for this one. But yeah, so pretty decent, solid match there. Will this feud carry over between the two sides? We'll find out. But of course, there's with Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin winning the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. I imagine the family's focus will pivot towards Corbin and Braun Breaker, so they'll probably face off. I'm guessing probably at Stand and Deliver, but nevertheless, as now we can talk about the NXT Women's Championship match. Lyra Valkyria, Roxanne Perez, and the aforementioned Lola Vice, who cashed in her NXT breakout contract in order to insert herself partway through this match. This match pretty decent, but people definitely pointed this out. I thought I was the only one who noticed, but people were pointing this out. How the crowd definitely weren't really weren't really that into this match. Me, I thought it was fine, pretty decent, and of course, which they pointed out in commentary, and which I hadn't even noticed. Like Roxanne has technically never lost a title. She had been stripped of her title. So of course, Roxanne and Perez had won the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships, but pretty much had them relinquished due to Cora Jade turning on her, and then she had to vacate the NXT Women's Championship after she collapsed after defending the title against Meiko Satomura. So Roxanne, and definitely a little bit of vendetta here, or getting back at the title that she feels she never lost. Lola cashing in, and her becoming a factor. Or ultimately, he came down to Tatum Paxley getting involved apparently Tatum Paxley and Lara Valkyria have struck up at least a sort of alliance slash friendship. But ultimately, Paxley he knocking Roxanne Perez out of the ring, and then Lara Valkyria finishing off Lola Vice in order to pick up the win and retain. And so, Lyra retains again, but Roxanne and kind of getting screwed at the end. So I wonder, will this play into the storyline? But yeah, a pretty decent match. The crowd not quite fully into it, but I thought it was okay for the most part. But then next up for the NXT North American Championship, Obafemi he defending against Dragon Lee. Of course, Obafemi won the men's breakout tournament, cashed in his contract, and picked up the NXT North American Championship, which with Lola Vice cashing in and not winning there. Let me know in the comments. I could be totally wrong about this, but I think she might be the first person to cash in the breakout tournament contract, either men or women, and wind up losing. Is she the first to do so? Please let me know in the comments. But nevertheless, Obafemi cashed in his, won the NXT North American Championship, and now Dragon Lee wanting to get it back, and a pretty decent little David Goliath battle. Of course, Obafemi very strong going against Dragon Lee, who's a lot more nimble and quick. So it made for an interesting dynamic there between the two. With Dragon Lee having to really work his way around the much larger Obafemi. But Oba, even in this kind of admittedly somewhat short showing of his, at least in terms of this match, it's still really impressive to see. Like being able to see a lot of his power and everything. Ultimately, he putting away a Dragon Lee with a pop-up power bomb. So, well, I guess if Kevin Owens is using the stunner now, then I guess the pop-up power bomb is fair game. But both look pretty impressive, and yeah, a pretty solid match. But now it's time for not just your main event, but the match everyone's been looking forward to. Not just because of what happened during the match, but because of what happened after. As Trick Williams looks to whoop that Trick and get the NXT Championship, but he'll have to go through the Mad Dragon, Ilya Dragunov, and whoo baby, this match was fantastic. Does it compare to the wars that Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes had? I don't quite think so, but still a really solid match. Honestly, for some people, if they prefer this match to the other matches between Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes, honestly, I'd probably understand. And speaking of which, Carmelo Hayes is in Trick Williams' corner, so he's gonna be on the outside as well, involved in a couple spots. But otherwise, these two, they brought it, like bleeding from their mouths within like the first few moments of the match. At Trick Williams delivering a whole Uranagi to Ilya Dragunov on the outside. Carmelo Hayes getting involved when it came to Ilya Dragunov, being provoked by the Mad Dragon and accidentally causing Carmelo Hayes to accidentally hit the chop block on Trick Williams. Accidentally, he nails the chop block, and then and as Carmelo Hayes is arguing with the ref, Trick Williams is accidentally knocked into the ref Dragunov, so Carmelo Hayes goes tumbling off the apron. Ultimately, Dragunov nails the Torpedo Moscow in order to pick up the win. And it was interesting because they both ran at each other. Trick Williams looked like he was going for the trick knee. But Dragunov was going for the Torpedo Moscow at the same time. I thought it would be a double down and something like that, but nope. Dragunov apparently successfully hit the move, who in order to pick up the win, and Dragunov ends up retaining. Carmelo Hayes is consoling his friend Trick Williams, and then he turns on him. Yeah, we figured it was coming. We figured it was probably coming in this match, but it finally happened, and people were pointing out the outfit was a dead giveaway because it was pretty much the same outfit Shawn Michaels was wearing when he turned on Mario Jannetty with like the jacket and everything. And thankfully, Trick Williams didn't dive through the window in an act of cowardice this time around. But Carmelo like attacking Trick Williams, the crowd out in shock. Like man, we knew it was coming, but it was still, oh man, it was still tense. Then Carmelo Hayes grabbing the chair and just wailing on Trick Williams' leg. So, I mentioned before how I saw the main event and first from last night, and then watched the rest of the show this morning. And during the tag team match, the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic match, Trick Williams kind of landed it awkwardly on his knee, kind of tweaked his knee a little bit, hit so. Oh, that's a factor going into this match as well. Oh, but Carmelo just exploiting it, just wailing on Trick Williams' leg. Again, Carmelo Hayes revealed he's the one who did it, blames the fans, saying, "You're the one who made me turn on him." So, that means Carmelo Hayes is finally fessing up. He was the one who attacked Trick Williams. But man, in kayfabe, you also feel bad for Trick because he literally, when everybody else said Melo did it, Trick Williams still gave him the benefit of the doubt and still got turned on by Carmelo Hayes. Man, what a cold world it is, you know. But nevertheless, yes, so Carmelo Hayes has finally turned his back on Trick Williams. And what will be the explanation? And I imagine probably along the lines of Trick Williams' meteoric rise to the top, and that Carmelo Hayes is still him. So I imagine this will lead into their match at Stand and Deliver. So I am excited. Like, this match was fantastic. The match between Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes is gonna be fantastic. Hey, I am excited, especially with Carmelo Hayes. Is essentially being on his way to the main roster, or I can't wait to see what they do from here. And yeah, it's definitely going to be a time, but that is going to do it for, or not just that match, but NXT Vengeance Day. For match of the night, easily, without question, without debate, the main event. That main event and the subsequent heel turn afterwards was all a thing of beauty. As for the weakest match of the night, probably either the NXT Women's Championship match or the 6-person and mixed tag. Those ones I didn't quite care for as much as the other one, and the crowd especially didn't care for the NXT Women's Championship match. But nevertheless, and the crowd was kind of quiet for a few other points in the matches, in the show as well, which is pretty unfortunate. But nevertheless, that's going to do it for this review. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor: like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, turn on post notifications so you know every time I upload a video, so you can see as soon as it drops. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts on NXT Vengeance Day, my review. Did you dislike NXT Vengeance Day? Did you like my review of NXT Vengeance Day? Let me know. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.